Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Wendy Nickerson, licensed psychologist and the founder of Nickerson Institute of Integrative Health Training. I am so pleased to present to you today an upcoming graduate, Cynia Ejaz, who is joining us today from Pakistan. Welcome, Cynia.
Thank you so much, Wendy. It's such a pleasure to be here, and thank you so much for having me here. I'm really excited to have this conversation with you and just to start this journey with the Nickerson Institute. It's been amazing.
And thank you for being a part of the Nickerson Institute tribe. You have contributed so much in your not using your knowledge and your experiences all throughout this endeavor, and I certainly appreciate it. So you
Thank
also provide the cultural experiences and cultural differences you bring to the table, which is absolutely invaluable. Thank you, Cynia.
thank
Cynia,
you.
I'd like to start with a little bit about your work history.
Of course, of course. So thank you for once again for having me on this platform. I come from a very diverse background. Work related, I started working at a very young age. So my personal life led me to start working at 15. And I was very young. And that's where, I didn't know it back then, but I was already in my fight and flight mode. And I was just, in my survival mode. I was hustling, I was working. So my work diverse background includes a merge between corporate innovation, entrepreneurship, and now mental health coaching. So I've spent a lot of years in marketing and then helping startups. For the past 9 years, I've been working in the incubation acceleration space where help various startups in Pakistan, grow and thrive as well. So I've been working from a very, like I mentioned, at a very young age, but then I've kind of like been in between hustling and trying to figure out the corporate struggles because the corporate life has been, a difficult one. There's a lot of resilience that you have to show there. There's a lot of sort of like you have to do a lot of sort of going in it step by step and trying to figure out what sort of a person you're becoming. So I think this was a very good personal transformation that happened during my work years. And then my passion for mental health really is what led me to come to you and really understand about what it is to become an integrative mental health coach. And now, with my work experience, I'm running my own coaching business, which is called Safe Space with Cynia. So I try to provide my clients with a safe space where they can come and talk to me. It's a platform where people can grow as individuals through different, obviously, coaching techniques that I've learned during my time with the Nickerson Institute.
What a journey. What a journey going from corporate and, using your marketing skills, your business skills, and then moving it into the mental health arena.
Yeah,
And of course, your marketing and your entrepreneurial skills will help you so much with your own business. And we'll get
absolutely.
more on your own business also in a bit.
Of
Yeah, very,
course.
very exciting. There are so many people that are leaving the
Yeah.
corporate world due to the level of stress oftentimes, and it's not in alignment with their purpose and passion. So thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that.
Indeed.
I'm curious, moving from corporate to mental health, if you've had any experiences yourself with mental health struggles, physical health struggles that have led you in this direction.
Yeah. So absolutely. I mean, like most people, I was struggling with burnout, with imposter syndrome, with navigating personal losses, overcoming limiting beliefs that I had in my life. The major challenge for me, I believe, was obviously personal one. I, I wouldn't say. I actually, because of my parents, so my family basically split up and my parents separated when I was very young. And because of that reason, I had to start working very at a young age as well. So
Yeah.
I was at that point in time, I think, like I mentioned, in my fight mode. I just knew I had to struggle, survive, and get to a position. But I did not realize at that point in time what it's doing to my mental health. I was just going on and on and on. And I think by the time I turned 27, is when I finally was at a place in my life where I could pause and sort of like really be in a safe space myself to be able to analyze, what has happened. And that's where I believe my mental health sort of like caught up. And a lot of the things that I thought I was um, not able to face at a young age, I sort of like faced head on. So yes, I did face a lot of challenges myself, and I think back then, if you had asked me, I never would have been able to guess that, all my traumas and my pain and everything could be converted into something where whatever that light inside me was can now be shared and passed on to anyone else. But I think self-awareness, I think for me was really key here. Some people are go through this journey but are not really aware of what's happening to them. So self-awareness and acceptance of what's going on and acceptance that I need help and I need to, see somebody. So I did start my healing journey. And then it took me around 4 to 5 years of consistently showing up for myself to be able to come to a place where I feel like, now I cannot just be comfortable in my own skin, but I can also provide more to other people. And I see people around me, and all I want to do is help them and not, let them go through the kind of challenges that, probably I did, or maybe helping them wake up a little earlier than, the times that, or the sort of like duration it had taken me. So yes, there were a lot of challenges, and if it's a huge. I mean, I could take days talking about it. So I feel like
Oh, I
summarizing
can
it. Yeah.
I can tell, and I'm so glad you mentioned your own light, using your own light to bring about healing in others, which, is very much related to using our emotional system to like plug into other people so that their emotional system can feel safe enough to start processing some of the
Yeah,
pain. Yeah.
absolutely. So
And
that's a great analogy.
yeah, the other thing you mentioned is a safe space.
Yeah.
And I mean, we can't do anything if we're not feeling safe. We can't do the healing work. So that's why it's
Yeah.
so important to be with a coach who can
Yeah.
create that safe space. And they
Absolutely.
typically cannot create that safe space until they've done their own healing. So
Yeah.
it is just such a fascinating journey. Thank you so much, Sonia, for sharing.
Thank you.
I'm also interested in what attracted you about integrative mental health coaching.
So that's a great question. And I think I wouldn't really say that this is something that um, I had just gotten interested in, because when I now look at integrative mental health, I feel like it's something that I was practicing because I got into meditation at a very young age. I got introduced to it. This is back in the day when, solutions like Headspace and others were just about starting out. And I remember, I think I was in my 20s. I was probably 22, 23, and I started reading about mindfulness and a lot of like things. So I believe, I think it's not something, and again, this is why I say that I feel like a lot of my life's journey has led me to where I am today. So finding your why or your purpose, I do feel like integrative mental health was sort of catching on to me and just now it's finally there in my face. I would like to give credit to my friend Zena. She's the one who introduced me to this program particularly. And she's a psychotherapist herself, and she basically spoke about how, integrative mental health is something that is much needed now. Of course, it was needed even before, but I think now with this day and age, people need to have like a holistic way of living and not just focus on just, the medicine or a certain aspect of it. So I do believe that even for me, healing has always been holistic, even personally. I do feel like you can't just take the meds and heal. You have to sort of like heal your body, heal your mind, heal your soul. You have to do the right nutrition. You have to have the right social circle around you. You have to have the right sort of spiritual connection with your higher, whatever you believe in. So I do feel like even in my life, it's something that I was living or living by. I just didn't know it was called integrative mental health, to be honest. But yeah, but why was I interested in it is when honestly, like I mentioned, my friend Zainab, when she introduced this program to me and I went through it and it just spoke to me and I was like, hey, I mean, this is something that even though I didn't know what it is properly, it's something that I preach to my friends, to my family, to people around me. And I do know that, many people around me, I see them struggling with self-doubt, with stress, with anxiety, with emotional blockage. And I just wanted to help people to be in a position where I can help navigate and help them get through it. So I think that's really why I was interested.
Wow, and I love that it found you. You didn't find it. And there
Yeah.
are no there are no coincidences, right? So it
Yeah.
just seems to be part of your divine life's plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah. That's what it feels like, honestly. By now, I do feel that's what it is.
and then you can look back and see how all the pieces fit together. Absolutely amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Sonia.
Thank you.
I am curious about what aspects of integrative mental health do you find most interesting, such that it may lead to your niche in terms
Okay.
of how you want to proceed?
Yeah. That's again a very good question, Wendy, and I think I'm still in the process of figuring this out, where especially when it comes to my niche. I've always felt like because I've had a very sort of like a broken home situation, so I've always felt the need to work with families, to work with teenage sort of like disturbed children, and I mean, majorly couples counseling and family, everything to do around that, relationships, basically. But I'm also fascinated by how our mind, emotion, behavior, all of this is all connected as well. So, elements of CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, mindfulness, then positive psychology, some somatic awareness, for instance. So all of these I think are really, really interesting for me as well. And I think for me, my niche could be just helping individuals who are going through, for instance, major life transitions, such as being a parent, or struggling with, major stressors in their lives. Majorly, I do feel like relationships is key because I think our, um, I would say our the scale of how successful we are in life is how successful our relationships were, not how, how well we did in our work or our career or I don't know, etc. It's how many people would show up to your funeral,
Yeah.
basically, So I also feel like relationships and I think even our mental health, if I ask any five random people and ask them, okay, why do you think you have mental health problems? Majorly, the answer would be relationships, whether it's parents, mothers, fathers, siblings, husband, wife. So I do think that relationships are core. So I would like to, again, not having, I haven't really figured this out, but this is my like initial sort of like thing that I'm working on right now. But I do think this is a direction I would like to take.
Yes, and it's so important because we now know, and we've always known that we are designed to be in relationships with other people. And
Yeah.
and trying to do that without having a good relationship with ourselves is a little bit tricky. Oh,
That too, yeah, yeah. The first thing is the self-love and the self-relationship. And I think something that I've also ignored majorly in my life till recent times.
mhm.
You do so much for the other person. You're like, I feel like majorly, not just me, but majorly people around me, I feel like they're constantly in their giving mode.
Mhm.
But they forget to give for themselves. So that's
Yeah,
very important.
we women have been kind of programmed to do that, but we don't
Yeah.
realize we've been programmed until maybe as older we real, hey, what about me? Type
Yeah, yeah,
type thinking. So
absolutely.
I love it when I see young women in their teens and early 20s who really realize their value and realize that they don't have to drain their own cup,
Yeah,
giving to others, that there has to be that balance. So yes,
absolutely.
relationships a key.
The key.
Ah, something that you mentioned at one point, Sonia, was intergenerational trauma and how it's passed down. Tell
Yeah,
me, like, what do you know about that?
yeah. Thank you for mentioning this, Wendy. I think this is a topic that I'm very passionate about, and I wouldn't just say passionate. I think in my own journey, this is something that has really fascinated me because so intergenerational trauma is like, it's called transgenerational trauma as well, and it refers to the unresolved psychological wounds that we have, that or emotional patterns or stresses that we have received from past generations, and they are then passed down to the future ones. And this can happen through your genetics, your behaviors, through, learned behaviors with family culture, family dynamics, for instance, societal structures as well. And I feel like, when I started reading about it, or when I started really going into intergenerational trauma and understanding, I obviously looked at the Holocaust survivors, how
Yes.
that trauma, sort of like went on from generation to generation.
Mhm.
Even right now, with what's happening in all over the world, I wouldn't just say what's happening in with Palestine, but with all over the world, whatever is happening, all the wars, all the trauma that's happening, all the families that have been separated from each other, all the deaths. I feel like, I mean, this is major stuff. Generational trauma could be as simple as a mother having gone through a very difficult pregnancy, and during that time, maybe her husband cheated on her, maybe she, saw something very traumatic, but all the trauma that she held inside was also passed down to her daughter, maybe through her own womb.
Mhm.
And without even, I mean, we all stepped into this world with trauma, with some sort of trauma in
Mhm.
us, in our bodies.
Yes.
And that, that's like mind blowing for me whenever I think about it, that, I did not even consent to this. And it's in my body, my body. I mean, there's a wonderful book. I'm sure you must have heard about it. The Body Keeps a Score. I forgot the author's name, but it kind of just tells us how we don't even know how much our body remembers from the kind of traumas we have, and especially with our genes, we carry it from our great grandfathers to their grandfathers. um, and yeah, so like I mentioned, if a family experienced war, displacement, oppression, abuse, any sort of like trauma. Even if you look at us in Pakistan, I mean, we went through a certain displacement when, India and Pakistan were separated, and there's a lot that happened. If you open up history books, there's a lot that happened, the massacres that happened, the killings that happened. Even right now, so I am Christian and I live in a majorly Islamic country. So there are not that I've gone through major traumas of my own self, but I know that the generations before me probably did receive a lot of oppression when it came to being a minority, or being, operating as minorities. So I mean, this is something that I still, I mean, I can talk about it, but then again, whenever I do, I am just in awe of how much we still do not know, and we don't even know where to begin with, and we don't even know what sort of healing we need to do to our bodies when it
Mhm.
comes to intergenerational trauma, our bodies,
Yeah,
minds, yeah.
absolutely. And you mentioned the woman who was pregnant and her husband cheated on her. And then when the daughter grows up and becomes an adult, she wonders why she can't trust.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
that's an
Yes.
example. Why can't I trust? Having no idea that it was because of her mother's experiences when she was in her mother's womb.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
so complex, is it not?
It, it is. It is. And again, this is something that I wouldn't know how to wrap my brain around it just yet, but it is a topic that I am really, really close to. And I'm reading up and, just really trying to understand it day by day. So hopefully I'll be able to help other clients navigate
Yeah.
through this as well.
Oh, absolutely. Just planting the seed so that
Yeah.
clients can do their own research and start to gain a conceptualization and an understanding of why their emotional system is a certain way is absolutely invaluable. Yeah. And a lot of spiritual healers indicate that once a person heals a specific trauma, it might be trust. They heal the spirits of 7 generations behind them.
Wow. Yeah.
Seven
I mean,
gen-
that's intense. And actually, for me, Wendy, I believe I'm that person within my family. I feel like I really had to take on everyone's um, sort of like the light that needed to be held on to and like shown to different people. So even in my own journey, I believe I'm the probably the only one who started really understanding what mental health is, what our traumas, what our past did to us, all of that. And then really being the person to sit down with different parts of me, different parts of my family members, and bring that forward. So I believe, and I absolutely agree that you're right. It's usually that one person in the family who has to break that pattern. So it's a lot of responsibility as well. But
yeah,
it's a huge, huge, huge responsibility. But I think at the same time, it's something that I feel like, if you actually are able to navigate through this, it really, really, you're really breaking the chain, breaking the cycle
yeah.
for the next generations. So that's something.
I absolutely can relate to what you're saying because I do feel like I am a chain breaker in my ancestral lineage also. But
Yeah.
sometimes when it gets really hard and really challenging, it's helpful for us to remember that we were given the strength for this
Yeah,
for this job, for this
absolutely.
journey, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
No.
that's comforting. That's comforting in challenging
Yeah.
times. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
So tell me, Sonia, what makes you a good mental health coach?
yeah. I would, it's a good, I mean, that's a question for you to ask my future clients and my current clients as well. But I would, when I introspect and I do look at how I show up for my clients, I
Yeah.
believe, again, coaching is about holding space for people. That's why I've called my business or my coaching practice safe space, because I feel like it's all about number one, showing up and holding that space for them, and then guiding them to their own insights. It's not even about um, how I'm going to tell you what to do and this is what you need to do. And, all of the like best laid out plans are going to be there. You just have to follow each and every one of them. So I feel like, for the longest time, I used to think this is what it is. I just need to go to somebody and they're going to tell me what to do and I just need to do it and everything's going to be fine. But I think because of my own journey as well, and because I know I've gone through the entire wonderful program that you've set up and everything has really helped me to understand that the insight or the light is within that person. So I just kind of have to become that compass, you might
Mhm.
say,
Mhm.
just equipping them with the tools, with the right situations, scenarios in real life. So I think I mean, to summarize, the kind of coach that I am is somebody with empathy, somebody who can really do the talk, but also give evidence-based techniques that, I've learned. I would want to make sure that my approach is very personalized as well. It's not going to be a one size fits all. So again, another thing that I've learned is that I mean, it can't be a one size fits all. You have to really personalize. Every client is unique. Their situation is going to be unique. How they're going to learn is going to be unique. How they're going to even perceive all the things that you're going to tell them. Or maybe, some clients, it really takes them a lot of time to get to the point. So you have to really stay patient and
Mhm.
not like, hey, I know the answer. Let me just tell you so that you can heal
Yeah.
faster. And that's one of the things I feel like is I mean, it is a challenge sometimes for me because I feel like, I just want to help you get there. So I maybe, if I just tell you, but I do know that that kind of learning is never going to be long term. And it's just, you absorb the information, you're gonna ponder over it, you're probably gonna act on it a little, but until and unless it comes from you, the need to not change, but the need to sort of like implement or do something or show up in
Mhm.
simple.
It's an
And I,
inside. What I'm hearing you say is that it's an inside job. And when you allow yourself to attune to your client, then you can use the motivational interviewing skills to guide them
yes, yes,
to their
absolutely.
own.
So thank you for putting it in a very good way for me. And I think the last two things would be that I would really want to show up because my life has really taught me the growth mindset, the resilience that I've seen through the, corporate experience that I've had as well, because I've walked down that path myself. So I really want to help people, be able to get that resilience and growth mindset out from me as well.
Yeah, especially post-trauma growth.
Yes,
Post-trauma growth is phenomenal. Um, so that
absolutely.
I guess that would be a good thing about trauma is
Yeah,
the growth that is available to you afterwards.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, no, definitely.
I mean, Sonia, I already know you are and will continue to be an amazing mental health coach
Thank
from
you.
all levels. You have so much personability, so much knowledge, plus your personal experiences. I mean, these are invaluable. Now, I know you've mentioned safe space, and I'm curious as to how will you go about promoting your business? What avenues will you use? Will it
Yeah,
be a website? Will it be social media? From a
sure.
business aspect.
Yeah, so currently, so I've already started marketing myself and my practice as Safe Space with Sanya.
Okay.
That's SAFE space with, and my spelling CYNIA. So this is something that I'm doing on Instagram. I actually, the way I'm showing up there is through storytelling because I feel like people understand stories more, they understand messages like that more. I could just sit in front of a camera and talk about everything that I've learned and preach it, but I really want to like put some effort into the kind of content I put out so that it really, really resonates with people.
Oh, so
Um, so
powerful.
yeah, so that's something that I'm working on. So content and digital presence is there. I I'm also starting to build my LinkedIn profile because I feel with my corporate background, I have a lot of people on LinkedIn that I can reach out to. So basically, just trying to navigate Instagram and LinkedIn at the very beginning. But then I'm also working on building my website. But the website I want to do when I have certain sort of like products or workshops or some sort of a program that I can offer, because then it becomes really, really valuable for people. So group sort of programs is something that I'm really working on. And then one of the last aspects I think I'm trying to do is the online community building, because again, part of my background, not just in corporates, but I've also been a great community builder for the startup space in my domain. And that's something that I'm trying to work towards, just trying to build that community of people, because I think that there's power there, definitely. When people, creating that supportive network of people, I think that really goes a long way.
Absolutely. And I'm just so gleeful that you have that business and marketing expertise
Yes. Yeah.
um, to promote your own business, and the
Yeah.
entrepreneurial
Yeah.
spirit definitely shines through. So you've got it all going on, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
sometimes it's just too much for my brain as well, because it's literally one of my mentors used to say that, Sanya, what keeps you up at night? And at that point in time, I just, I was like, trauma, that keeps me up at night. But
It's
now it's different. It's this is what keeps me up at night. This is what keeps me
excitement.
going.
It's a positive thing that keeps you up at
Yeah,
now. Yeah.
definitely.
Can you tell us how people can reach you? Like, would you spell out any
Yes.
websites again?
So yes. So at the moment, it's Safe Space with Sania's SAFESPACE with WITH Sanya CYNIA. So you can look me up on Instagram. But very soon you can also search for my full name, Cynia Ejaz, CYNIAEJAZ, on LinkedIn, and that's where I'll be building my professional coaching profile as well. So these are the only two places. Of course, at a later stage, I'll have more of a network and emails and all of that going on.
Absolutely. And we will put the websites and your name down
Thanks.
below in the bio for this
That'll
video.
be wonderful, Wendy.
And I just want to thank you. Thank you today. Oh, the other thing that I wanted to mention was you're in Pakistan, but you can work globally. You can have
Yes,
your sessions via Zoom or some sort of secure site.
yes, yes.
And so you're not limited to one country, which is phenomenal
Not
and,
really.
and will help so much in terms of building your
Yeah.
business and your
Yeah.
clientele.
So no,
Amazing.
definitely. So I've been dedicated for this, especially because even with your courses, and majorly other things in life as well, I work around the clock. So there are sessions that I take around nighttime as well. Even right now, it's around 10 p.m. in Pakistan. So I'm just, it's never it's never too late for me. That's the kind of dedication I want to put into this. So yes, I'm definitely taking clients all over the world.
Oh, fabulous. Sonia, thank you so much for your time
You,
today,
Wendy.
sharing your light with us, sharing your spirit with us.
Absolutely. It was my pleasure. And thank you, everyone, for listening as well. And I do hope that we get to have these conversations in the future too. Thank you.
Absolutely. Bye bye.
Bye. Take care.